So it was Sunday morning. It was going pretty well, or so I thought. So anyways, my family and I weren't doing anything. We were just chilling at home. Then my mom told me to take out the dog. By the way, outside of my backyard is a screen and a pool. Anyways, I don't think much of it. I'm in my rainbow unicorn pants and my black striped shirt, because I just woke up. And I opened the door to let my dog out. She's sniffing around and I'm just off to the side waiting. I looked to the right of me and there was this cute guy, oh my, ooh. Anyways, he was just sitting there with his dog, just, enjoying life. I quickly try and hide because, I'm wearing unicorn pants and I don't want him to see me looking rough. So I hid behind the corner and just right when I'm about to head inside, my dog decides to crap on the side right where he was. Like for part 2. Part 2. I'm over here freaking out because I don't want to be seen. I called my mom over to pick up the crap, but I still had to clean the floor with the hose. So I literally start cleaning with the hose, whatever, minding my own business. And then I hear him literally giggling at me. I felt so embarrassed. Literally wanted to run away and cry. So I finished up and headed back inside and spent the rest of the day screaming into my room and ranting to all my friends. Love it. Amazing, isn't it?
My husband and I have been married for 4 years today. We don't really celebrate our anniversary because we've never had time, money, or babysitters. It's more a day of remembrance. A day where I say, hey Jim, remember the time we got married during a blizzard next to a waterfall on your day off from work and we didn't have any guests, but we live streamed it on Facebook, and during our vows you said you would love yourself forever? Our relationship's always been a little unconventional. When we met, I was a single mom and he was my boss that had a girlfriend. He didn't cheat on her. It wasn't anything like that. We just became best friends at work. I had a crush on him, but I was respectful. I would go ask him for help with things I did not need help with because I thought he was cute and smelled good. Anyway, eventually he and his girlfriend broke up. It wasn't a good relationship. At this point, we became even closer friends, like best friends. He finally made plans to hang out and he had texted me to cancel. Because of his breakup, he was bouncing between places while looking for a place of his own and he didn't have anywhere to stay that night. I said, well, I have a couch. You can crash at my place until you find your own. That'll be 6 years ago in March, so I don't even think he's looking for a place. So this is our real story, and for the record, he's still my best friend. I got a clip of the video, but I got to give you a backstory. So we'd been engaged for a little over a year, and our options were to get married in New York, where Jim's family would miss out, or get married in Kentucky, where my family would miss out. And so instead, we decided to disappoint everyone and invite no one, except for my dad. He was there. He was the one recording. But we just randomly decided to do it one day, and I had asked him to write vows for a week, and he did not do that. So this is what came out of his mouth. These were his vows.
Sickness and health, whatever. Richer or poor, there's no richer to it. We're just poor. It's just how it is. Probably how it's going to be. I accept this. But I love you, and I promise that I will continue loving me. No, I will continue loving you. As long as you want.
So I used to really like this guy who said, and I quote, "The only thing I'm into are nice bodies." And I didn't have a very nice body at the time. But I worked really hard and I got one, and I went to go show it off to him. And then he started screaming and saying things like, "Get away from me, you're a murderer. How did you carry this human being all by yourself?" And as he was doing what some might call escaping, he turned to me and he said, "This is the last time you're going to see me. What do you have to say for yourself?" And I looked at him and I said, "Do you remember that you said bodies plural?" Because I don't think you're going to like what comes next.
Story time about how my stalker defended me in a fight at a hot dog shop. A few years ago, when I was 19, I got a job at a hot dog shop. It had a phallic pun for a name in a somewhat shady area, and the shop was pretty well known and had some fantastically dark local lore. Rumors that the hot dogs were made out of horse meat, or that we had been closed down by the health inspector and reopened illegally, circulated. None of it was true, but people kept coming back for our delicious hot dogs. The community was diverse and sometimes dangerous, but people looked out for each other. One shift, early in the morning, I was working the register when a man comes in. He had long dark hair and thick stubble covering most of the lower half of his face. The shop was busy. He ordered and stepped aside but kept chatting with me. I was used to this. In an area with a lot of nightlife, I got comfortable with drunk ramblings and people hitting on me. I felt safe as long as I was on the other side of the counter. He was talking about how all the other men in the shop were posers and how beautiful I was. He also told me that he's a chef at a nearby restaurant, but I gave him a fake name just to be safe. I started seeing him often. It wasn't uncommon to have regulars, some even on a first name basis, but when my coworkers told me he had come in looking for me, asking for me when I wasn't there, I started to feel uneasy. Part 2 of how my stalker defended me in a fight at a hot dog shop. Every time I saw him, he seemed to be more intoxicated than the last. He'd walk in and say, "Hey beautiful," or "Hey pretty girl," so casually as though it was really my name. One night I finished my shift at 2 a.m. and I saw him on the other side of the sidewalk, watching me and waving. I tried not to think about how long he might have been there. My manager walked me to my car that night. Then one Saturday around 3 a.m. the shop was booming. There was a 40-minute wait for french fries. The tiny shop floor was crowded with people who had rolled out of any one of the nearby nightclubs, drunk and starving. A big, bulky man in his mid to late 20s started getting in my face. He had been waiting 30 minutes for the fries he ordered. I kept apologizing, but that just made him angrier. I was desperately trying to plan an escape from my position against the back wall behind the counter to the front door where I could get a bouncer's attention. There was no hope. The store was too crowded. That's when I hear a sloppy but familiar voice saying, "Leave her alone," and my stalker emerges from the crowd. He was only 5'5", but he fronts up against the massive man and they start fighting. Luckily, the commotion caught a bouncer's eye who ran in and swiftly de-escalated the situation. After that, I got a job somewhere else and moved on.